is in the middle of something. It has to do with money. You say, are you talking about Britney Spears today? No. But we're talking about money today. This is nothing you want to scroll through or say, well, I'll just scroll through and get. No, you don't want to miss one moment of this. Yolanda Adams is with us today with a wow moment, words of wisdom. And then we're going to get into it today. Money, God, and ghosts. Let's go.
On this rock, I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. Abundant Life Cathedral Church, the church of tomorrow today. A ministry that is building the people that shape the world.
Welcome to Dr. Ed's Sensational Sundays. Wow. I am so glad that we follow a pastor who talks about the importance of our words and the power that our words have. Whew. Man, I want you to be aware of the I am factor that pastor talks about all the time. Make sure that whatever you place behind I am is not negative, because you're gonna get whatever you place behind I am. For example, if you say I am sick, or if you say I am depressed, or if you say I am blah, 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 guess what's gonna happen? You will be depressed, you will be sick, and you will be blah, 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 blah. Well, how about turning that thing around and saying, I am whole, I am healed, I am all that God says that I am, and I will flourish. I can't wait for the word. Here's Dr. Ed.
If you're watching this by rebroadcast, I'm Ed Montgomery. They call me Dr. Ed. Thank you so much for being with us today. I've been doing this for, every time I say I've been doing this for over 40 years, for over 45, close to 50 years, helping people discover who they are, their I amness, who they are with God inside. How do you deal with God in me, through me, as me, around me? How do we deal with those things? How Jesus says that me and God are one and we make our home in you. Therefore, he's in you, he's in your heart, heaven is in your heart. We deal with all those things. But the most important thing is when you come from that perspective, it changes your total outlook on life. Today, we're talking about money. Yeah. It's been a while. I know some of you are amateur stockbrokers. Some of you deal with commodities. Some of you are dealing with the market going up and down. Some of you are saying, I don't have money in my pension. I'm getting too old. You have to have some laws in your mind first as you deal with money. I know you're experts, and anytime a preacher talks about money, it must be talking about giving. Of course, you have to talk about giving in some areas because it's about gratitude. You got to go into anything with an attitude of gratitude. Come on, say it with me. Attitude of gratitude. But what today is about, I'm going to get into some things that you may have never heard, so you don't want to go anywhere. All right? Look. Make your comments. You know how those comments work. Hit that comment button. If you're somewhere other than Houston, let me know. If you're somewhere other than Texas, let me know. Somewhere other than the United States, let me know. And make sure you hit somebody up now, early. I'll tell you to do it again later, but hit them up to share it now while we're just beginning this whole thing. Because it's been years and years of experience, but you know what? I'm just like you, kind of amateur in some of these things, but I got some steps ahead and I'm reaching back and I'm going to share some things with you and talk to you about some things about what's going on in life. All right. I've been watching this thing about Britney Spears. I don't know how many of you might know what I'm talking about. It's this whole thing about her lawyers and her father, and they have, oh my goodness, I forgot that word. Goodness gracious alive, it just left my brain. Somebody's gonna hit it on the screen. I know they gonna hit it on there. But anyway, they had put her in a mental hospital, or else she checked herself in or something. But they've been watching over her money while she was there. But Britney has been working all along, doing concerts, managing this, managing that, and they're still dealing with her. They're still running her life. She says she wants to have another child. She wants to do some other things. She gets to be with her kids. All of these things, but she's still making money for this trust. She's making all this money, and the question is, where is this money going? Who's getting it? Who's handling it? You're talking about Britney Spears. Money, as they say, makes the world go round. And so what I'm going to talk to you about is what's happening. You say, well, that's about Britney Spears. Why is that important? We're dealing in a world right now where people are going back to work, but they're going back to work, and employers are finding out that people, when they come back to work, are not necessarily wanting to come back to work for the same amount of money that they were making when they left, especially in the food industry and in the restaurant industry. They want these raises. Restaurants, people are coming up with raises. They're doing bonuses, but they're having problems because they're saying, listen, we're going to give you a $2,000 bonus in the end of 90 days if you just stay and work. People are deciding they're not going to even stay long enough to take in for 90 days to take the bonus. So you're in a worker's market right now. Well, maybe they should have started paying some of these wages long time ago. But this is what's happening. It's about money. Even when you look at the whole thing of what's happening in Congress and what's happening in Washington, D.C., people who are in office don't want to lose power. They're gerrymandering what they call the states and things of that sort, where they're always going to get elected, even though they don't even want to deal with the government right now. They don't even want to work at all, hardly. Or they want to work against people. And they can't get them out of office because of the way they've redistrict the offices and drew the lines and things of that sort. Because they're making, what is it? You know the story. They're making money. You know what I'm talking about. And even when we deal with the aspect of voting rights, why are people so angry, so against the voting rights? Well, over the last 4 years, have we been dealing, actually, beginning the last 5 years, why have we been dealing so much with voting rights? And it's almost as if they don't want to share the country. When I say they, people of power don't want to share the country. Why don't they want to share the country? Why else? What else would it be? You know it. It's money. Because when you have money, you get power. When you have power, you can now run a campaign on the level of somebody else's campaign. When you can run a campaign on that level, then you can help to change the lines of the district and make it more fair. And then you'll have more people in power, and more people who are not just one particular race or one particular color, but people of other races, other colors, other genders, other religions. America actually becomes that melting pot. But who wants to share the country? The problem is they don't want to share the country. Why wouldn't they want to share the country? Because sharing of the country opens up other avenues concerning money. See, money is it's what's behind a lot of these things. And when I talk about money, I'm not just talking about currency. I'm talking about, you say, well, why are you talking about this as a minister or as a church? Because behind money is spirit. Behind money is spirit. Money, there's a difference between currency and money. Yeah, we call money what we feel in our hands. But money is spiritual. It is an intangible kind of thing. How do you get money? You work for money. So when you work for money, what are you giving in order to get this money? You're giving up time, right? Yeah, you can't see time, can you? No. You're giving up energy, right? Nope, you can't see energy. It's an intangible. You're giving up ability. You're giving up potential. You're giving up possibility. These are things that are coming out of you where someone else is saying, okay, give me this for an hour and I will give you this amount of money for the hour that you're giving me. And people are saying now, well, I'm starting to wonder, I don't know if it's worth it. Well, understand this. Nobody is ever going to pay you what you are worth. I hope you're worth something. But nobody's going to pay you what you're worth. What you make a decision is, I'm going to work for this particular company at this particular rate, at this particular time, because I need it in order to do some other things, because it helps me have a place to live. It helps put food on the table, where I can also put things in education in my children, in college educations and things of that sort, where they will be able to make money and further wealth. All of this is about wealth. You're dealing with America. All of this goes back a long time ago. And the church was involved in this ever since there was church. Ever since Christianity popped up and became the popular thing that it was in 325 CE. And so finally, during the 16th century, people were going, it was the belief of the church, and I didn't say the Catholic Church, but it was the Catholic Church, because Catholic only means one. It only means the church. There were no denominations at that particular time in the 16th century. There was only one church. And we called it the Catholic Church. And they believed that there was a place between earth and hell called purgatory. And it had come to a point in time that one of the ways they raised money was saying, listen, if you'll give us X amount of dollars or X amount of coins or silver or gold, we will put it in the church's chest, and your loved one who is in purgatory can go either heaven or hell. They're in purgatory. But if you put some money in the coffers, we can make sure they don't go to hell. They go to heaven. As soon as the money hit the bottom of the thing, bam, the soul went straight to heaven. That's what they were saying to people. Well, they got upset about it, and they had what was called a Reformation, or the reforming of the church. Men like Martin Luther, John Calvin, a bunch of history. But it's important because you have to understand, then the church went on up to Britain. So you have the Catholic Church that was in England. The English king got tired of listening to the rules of the Catholic Church. So the King of England decided he was going to have a church that he was the head of. So they had something called the Anglican Church, which gets the same hats, the bishop hats and the robes and the sticks and all the different things. And they preached this message. A man by the name of, I think it was John Winthrop, preached this message to the people who were about to go over the boat. The Puritans, who were sick of what was happening in the Anglican Church. They were coming to get a new faith, to take their Puritan religion that was descendants of John Calvin to this place called America, where they could have religious freedom. And when they got to America, they got there on Plymouth Rock and Antebellum and down in Virginia, and they had religious freedom. And they said, this is the place where we believe, they actually believe this. Listen to this, that Jesus Christ would come back in this new land. You said, but they were talking about Jesus Christ would come back to Jerusalem. And well, they believed that the United States was the new Jerusalem, and that Jesus would come back. So they had to prepare for the coming back of Jesus. So they had to have their religion, but they also had to build their buildings. They had to make money, because it was going to take money to bring Christ back. And so the trees were cut down. They used the trees, sold the trees in order to get it over to England to make these armadas and these ships and everything battle ready. They got tobacco. They sold tobacco, made money, and all of this done from 1619 on the backs of slaves. And not just slaves, but Slavic people, which came out of Europe and out of Russia. It came Irish people, all of these, but on the backs of slaves. They could watch the slaves or the African, because the color of their skin, they could not ever pass into America. So let me get past the history. The bottom line is, when they got to 1776 and the doctrine of the Declaration of Independence, where it says all men are created equal, we know that the founding fathers thought of it was white men, not white women, but it was white men, landowners, that believe all men are created equal. But we are able to reinterpret the document because the words are given like that. So that means People of all races, people of all colors, people of all backgrounds can reinterpret these documents to mean when they say all men are created equal, you say, I'm a man, so therefore I'm created equal. This is why voting rights is so important, because voting can tell you you are not a man, you are not or of mankind or a woman. If it can make you feel that you are a second-class citizen or 3/5 of a human, then you can't say that you were created equal in the image of God, because religion as they taught it was based to make people of color believe they were cursed of Ham away from Noah and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Because you see, it was about money. All of this was about money. But regardless, Scripture says they may have meant it for evil. Oh, somebody get him a shout here in a minute. But God meant it for good. You can take what's evil and you can flip it. You can turn it on its axis and you can make it turn out to good. What starts evil can become good. What starts in suppressing or depressing or oppressing can be something that can be powerful and strong and lifting. But if you don't have the money to do it, if the racism is in the system, if it's in business, if it's in corporate America, if it's holding back, then you're having a harder time because the playing field is tilted and it's harder to run uphill to make a touchdown. So, beginning in religion, this is where we're tilting the field. They're trying to tilt it concerning education. They're trying to make sure they change it to become more fair in business, corporate America, government, politics. They want to become more fair in all of these areas. But we also it needs to be fair in understanding religion. And we got to get into it because it's based on where you went to school, who taught you this, how they taught you, and where the teaching came from. Because you need to understand it, because if you understand it, it deals with your I amness. It deals with your understanding. Your spirituality can dictate how you deal with money. Because if money is a spirit and your identity is spiritual, then if you got a poor spirit, you're going to have a poor pocket. I'm going to say it again. I just saw a comment. Somebody just got a hold of it. If you got a poor spirit, you're going to have a poor pocket because you're going to think differently about money. You have to begin the process. The Bible, spirituality, is not just about getting you to heaven. This is what the early people, the early Calvinists, Puritans, descendants of Puritans understood in the 1840s and 1850s. They literally began to lose the emphasis about heaven, and they focused on their God and capitalism. It was the enslaved people who held on that I will wait till I get to heaven to get my golden crown, my golden slippers, my long white robe, my golden slippers, which means shoes that I didn't have down here, golden slippers, which mean robe or clothes that I have tattered clothes down here. And sit down in heaven and do nothing and rest from all of my labors. Why do you want to go to heaven and rest? If you have an eternal body, why would you want to go to heaven and rest? Because you done worked your behind off down here in the fields. So definitely when you get to heaven, the first thing you want to do is go to sleep. So that's how it worked. They were thinking about money, cotton, but other people of color, the Native Americans, they were moving toward the west, the Trail of Tears, on and on and on. Now, this is what I'm talking about when we get to money. Now, let's just deal with this thing concerning money. There are 6 things that you need to know about money in order to have your mind ready to get it. Like I said, some of you are amateur stocks, doing stocks, and you're trading stocks. You're getting your, watching it go up and down. You got your stops, and you're going long, and you're going short. You're doing all those different things, and you're trying to make that killing. Well, wealth is not about making a killing. That's not how you make money. You have to begin, first of all, with your mindset. This is where it starts. And there are six things that you've got to know if you're going to deal with this whole thing about money, God, and ghosts, because there are some ghosts in your mindset that if you don't deal with them and know what they are, they're going to scare you out of the money you need to make to survive. 6 things. Look. Watch this. I'll be right back. Hello, this is Ed Montgomery. There's an ancient text that says, count it all joy, or consider it joy when you deal with different or various trials. For the trying of your faith works or creates endurance. And I think we all have to say we've had to endure a lot in these last 14 months, getting through COVID, transitions, jobs, finance, health. Oh, it's just been so much. But I want you to know that we can't stop here. There's another space. There's another place. There is another horizon. ALC is about to move into its next phase of ministry. And I want this phase to be the best. And I've prayed and I've asked God, just give me whatever it is you're going to give me, because I want to help people move to that next place in their life. And there were 3 things that I heard deep in my spirit. And those 3 things are this: pursue purpose, grow faith, and enjoy your journey. Help people pursue their purpose, grow their faith, and enjoy their journey. Purpose is something that we need in order to move forward. Faith is what keeps us going on. But none of it is worth anything if you can't enjoy the journey. So I want you to take a moment. Help me get this vision off the ground as we move into a new facility, a new vision, a new space. And do what you can to keep us going forward. This is our 40th year. Yes, 40 years of ministry. And I want to make this our best years. So I want you to take a moment, go to myalc.org. That's myalc.org. And hit that donate button. Mash it, crash it, smash it. And the screen will pop up and it'll tell you how to give. You can decide how you want to give, whether it's your tithe, an offering, whatever you're going to give. Put the number 40 in it. It'll make a huge difference. Just put that number 40 somewhere in whatever you're going to give. Or of course you can use your app. Your app is special. We're working on the app every single week, and we're going to continue to work on it because we want that to be a place where you can go and listen to us on the radio. You can watch this broadcast, all those things, because it'll be right there on your phone. And you can also do what is so popular, giving through text. And all you got to do is just take your phone, and all you got to do is type in that phone number, 713-742-2035. That's 713-742-2035. And send whatever message or amount you want to give, whether it's $10, $15, $20. Just type the number 20 or 50 or whatever number you want to give in that text message box. And then click the send arrow button or whatever, and it'll go right to us. If it's your first time, it's going to open an account for you, but it only takes seconds in order to establish it. Or, of course, you can give through the post office box. That's something that there's some of us that said, I just want to do this by check. And that's what you can do. You can send it, mail it to Abundant Life Center or Abundant Life Cathedral, same place. P.O. Box 772-300, Houston, Texas 77215. Look, I'm at a place right now where normally a lot of these ideas and things that we're about to do and buildings we're about to go in and that are being developed even right now, normally I'd have Sandra to be able to bounce all of these ideas off, and now she's transitioned. She is in the arms of the ancestors and sitting at the table of the elders. But at the same time, I have you. And I have you praying for me, lifting me. Some of you I bounce ideas off of. But more than anything, I need you to help me. Help me with your prayers, and also help us with your support. Hit that donate button. Make that contribution. Do it now. Do it today. Because I believe in the next years, doesn't matter what your age is, we're going to help you do those three things. Pursue your purpose, grow your faith, and enjoy your journey. Looking forward to seeing your name. Thank you in advance. Prayers are always with you. Human beings have certain needs. And there are basically 6 needs that a human being has. And that first need is the need for comfort. You know what you're talking about? Or the need for certainty. I want you to imagine, back in them old English days, and the knight comes along, with his shiny armor and his sword, and he's riding on a white charger, and he picks up Maid Marian, the maiden, and picks her up, throws her on a horse, and rides her to the castle, and they get married, and takes her to the big, huge castle that she's in, and she's got servants and maids and butlers and cooks and cleaners and everybody taking care of her clothes and all those different things. But you look out, she's looking out of the window over all of the acreage, but yet she looks unhappy. Why would she look unhappy if she's in a castle with a knight, with all of this? If it was in 2021, the reason she would be unhappy is because her name is not on the deed of the castle. There is no certainty. If some other knight comes in and knocks off the knight that's at the castle that married her, what's going to happen to her? Is there an insurance policy with her name on it? We are creatures that we want to feel the comfort of certainty. What does our future look like? What about money in the bank? What about my paycheck? Can I depend on having the kind of money that I'm going to need in the years to come? Is this stock going up or is it going down? The second need is the need for uncertainty. You said, wait a minute, you first had the need for certainty. You want to feel secure. Well, the second need is when she's looking out of that castle, she's looking out over the hills and she sees a little cottage in the far distance. And she's saying, boy, I'm living in this wonderful castle, but I would certainly like to have a summer house and live in the cottage. Because you see, no matter how much security you have, or control over your environment that you have. There has to be uncertainty because you have to make room for the ability to do more or to get more. Because after a while, you're going to get bored with the castle and the drawbridge and the Knights of the Round Table. Can I get a summer home? Hey, why not me go out there and get me a little garden and grow some watermelon or something? What can I do? Because you want uncertainty in your life. A life where you just have straight stability, where you know everything that's coming into you, this is all I have. It takes away, how can I say it? It takes away your ability to take risks and to gain other things, to do other things, to go other places, and to expand who and what you are. You know, as long as we have everything and we got everything we want, everything we need, I'm secure. It may grow, you may have money, but you might not have much character because it takes uncertainty in order to deal concerning character. And believe me, there are people all out there in life that are dealing with so much uncertainty. And then there's 6 of them, the third thing that you want to be able to feel and the need of the human being is love and connection. Now, we know that from COVID. We know how that disconnection from people has caused even a type of sickness within itself. You know, star-crossed lovers are saying, you know, they're finding out maybe the person I was with, maybe that's not who I was in love with. Or, you know, I don't want to get too deep off into that, but they're finding out now that they're starting to go out more and get out more and to see other people. People are looking for love. They're looking for the ability to make connections with one another. And I'm not just talking about sexual connections or financial connections, but I'm just talking about the ability to connect with people that you can exchange ideas with. Somebody that you'd want to talk to and that can talk with you and not feel the pain of judgment and not feel that you are going to beat them up for being somebody different or somebody other than what you thought them to be. See, this is what has happened within church for so long. You know, people in religion have so pretended to be one particular way or to live up here when everybody else knows that it's almost like a tube of toothpaste. You know, it feels like there's something there, but actually it's squeezing out over there. On one end, you know, they're being nice, good, wonderful people. On the other end, you can catch them sneaking out doing some stuff that you thought, well, I thought you was a Christian. Well, I'm going to ask to the I thought you was a Christian. I thought you understood Christianity. I thought you understood that Christian does not mean somebody who is going to be perfect morally, spiritually, whatever, every single time in life, but that this thing becomes a journey. It becomes a walk. It becomes something that you grow into. You can't take a selfie of somebody in their Christianity and say that's what you're supposed to be. That's why we got in trouble in the first place. That's what ran people away. We take selfies. Oh, this holiness. This is who we are. And people look at this and then we paint halos around our head only to realize that that's not reality. You know what people want? What people are looking for, even when it comes to church, is not as much, oh, you like the singing and the thing and the hand clapping, but you know what people come for? They're looking for connection. And one of the worst things in the world to do or to be is a great Christian and have no one in your life. And you're walking this path alone. And nobody who not only doesn't understand your heart, but doesn't even care to understand your heart. I don't know about you, but I need to make connections. I need to be able to touch the lives of other people and have the lives of other people touch my life in a meaningful way. I know how love is. I know what the Beatles said. The Beatles gave that gospel. They gave the gospel of the Beatles says, money can't buy me love. No, it can't buy you love. It can buy your dog. And that dog will give you unconditional love. I promise you, that dog will love you. That dog will be right there next to you and curl up around you and love you no matter how much you're a horrible person. But money can buy an illusion of love. But the bottom line is, we just want to make those connections. How many of you understand what I'm talking about here? If you are, hit that. Use your comment button. If I'm talking good, if you're getting something out this, I'm getting ready to go into these last three. If you're getting something out this, let me know on that comment button. And especially hit that like button. Like it. Not me want to see the likes. I want the Google people and all Facebook, all those people to see the likes, because they love algorithms. And the more algorithms they get, the more they spread this message. This message has got to get out there with people, especially with people who don't love people, who are a country that is disunified right now because of the rhetoric and the junk that's being cast in front of people, and the mindsets that people are having. The lack of sharing and afraid that this race is going to hurt them and this race is going to hurt them and we got to take this away. This mindset is tearing our country totally apart. And at least those of us who are in church or call ourselves Christians, you know what I mean? What a Christian is to me is not that definition. I'm a follower of Christ and his teachings. At least those of us who proclaim this can at least take the time to talk to people about things. At least share this message. Click this and share this with mama, daddy, grandpa, granddaddy. And share this. This is where church is going. This is the new stage of it, because here is those last three things that we really want to feel. Much of my time too. That we really want to feel. And that we really want to have deep in our spirit. And that fourth thing is this: pursuit of purpose. People want to seek for significance. They want to know I'm somebody of value. People want to know that they're valued. The fifth thing is that people want to grow. Nobody wants to stay stagnant forever. We want our faith to grow. And the third thing we want to do, yes, sir? All right, is enjoy our journey. Because it's not any fun to be a nice, wonderful, saved person and your face looks like a prune and you're tired. And I'm not talking about, wrinkles. We all have wrinkles, but I'm talking about just mean because I'm not enjoying the life that I'm living. I'm not happy about it. This is what the miracle of Matthew chapter 14 is all about. It is the story that I have told over and over and over again, and every time I get into it, there is a new wrinkle. It is the story of Jesus and his disciples. Jesus was up in the mountain praying. He had been up there all later on, late that evening, and all that night. It was about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, probably about 3 o'clock in the morning. He had told his disciples to go to the other side of the lake, and he would see him then. He would meet him over there. They didn't know how he was going to get over there, but he just said, just go on. They got halfway out in the middle of the sea. A storm came. Big one. Horrible. Perfect storm. And it started tearing their boat, their little ship, apart. Jesus on a mountain looked out over the water and noticed that they were trying to row, but they could not make headway against this storm. That boat was about to go down. How many of you have ever been in a situation where you were about to go down? The boat you were in, everything's a metaphor. The life that you were in, it looked like the life you were living. Even from government standpoint, was coming down hard on your IRS. You were about to go down. Police about to go down. Prison about to go down. Love life about to go down. That boat was about to go down. Jesus said, I can't let them go out that way. Jesus came out of that mountain, walked down the edge of the sea, probably saw other boats, didn't even get in the boat, didn't think, had to move fast. And Jesus began to walk the water in the middle of the night in total darkness. And when he got toward the boat, inside of them, I can imagine there was a clap of thunder and a crack of lightning. And between the two, the light lit up and it showed his hair like lamb's wool. It showed his feet like polished brass. And it showed the flowing of his robe inside of the boisterous wind. And the first thing they cried was, it is a ghost. And they began to they became terrified. The scripture says they were troubled, which means their minds, the Greek word there means it was agitated. In other words, their minds were in a state. You know how you wash your clothes? That's an agitator in there. In other words, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. How many of you ever been in a position of your mind where your mind has been going back and forth? Do I believe this or do I believe that? How does my mind, do I think this or do I think that? Does my mind go here? Does my mind go there? Where does my mind go? It's called agitation. Some of you are dealing with it right now, but I declare right now, I command that agitation to stop, and agree with me, because you can stop that agitation right now. They were troubled. They were agitated. And they began to cry out. They looked out, and here's what they said. It is a ghost. They thought Jesus was a ghost. They thought he was a ghost. The only way you think something is a ghost is because that's the way your mind is used to thinking. They went back to their childhood, thought it was a ghost. They were agitated. But there was one man who was agitated, but he was about to make a calculated decision. And he says, if you are Jesus, if it's you, allow me to come out of this boat and do what you're doing. In other words, if you're not a ghost, and if it's you, then let me come do what you do, walking on that water. Let me walk to you. Peter was about to step out of that boat. This is the way you're going to do things. Here's how money is going to be involved. You make money through calculated risk, not through gamble. If money is spiritual, now, if you're going to gamble, hey, do your thing. I know somebody says, well, I got $1 million. I'm going to put the $1 million in an account. And if you'll give me $1,000 and I'll put the $1,000 with my million and you can have access to 100,000 of it and just go ahead and let me know. And it's a con game. That's a gamble. You're going to lose your money to the con artist. Gambling 100% like that, that's gambling. Risk deals with education. It deals with thought. It deals with understanding, deals with reasoning, it deals with logic. It's adding patience and endurance to how you think. The Apostle Paul said in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, it says, when I was a child, I thought as a child, understood as a child, I spoke as a child. But when I became full of age, a mature individual, I threw away them childish things. We got to throw away childish church, childish understandings of church. We got to be willing to take some risk, to educate ourselves, to look at our religion, look at our faith. If you're going to invest money, then educate yourself about money. If you're going to do a little stocks, educate yourself about it. Understand you can lose it as well as gain it. Peter was banking that stock was going up. He got out of that boat, put his foot on the water, began to walk the water. It says, but then when he looked up and saw that the wind was boisterous, the scripture says, dangerous, it says that he began to sink. What do you do when your stock begins to crash? Pick that up next time. Listen to me. I'm learning. I can't get all this out in one thing. So many people are at that place where stock is about to go. And I'm not just talking metaphorically. I'm also talking about, when you're dealing with your finances, things are about to crash. When you've lost a lot of money, when things have gone past what you thought you were going to do, you gambled instead of risked. I'm banking on the future. And I believe the future is going to be this. Learn to pursue your purpose, grow your faith, and enjoy your journey. I want to be happy about my future. Happy with the people that are around me. Happy with the people that I'm with. I know that the evil and what we call the devil, they say the devil is busy. The devil is out there. All that stuff that's happening politically. Oh, that devil is what they call. My grandma used to say the devil is busy. But you know what else my grandmama used to say? She used to say that the devil is a liar. How many of you know right now that the enemy has no victory over your life? That everything that has to do with us is resurrection. Get ready. We're coming back and we getting up again. But what do you do when your stock crashes? Father in heaven, I thank you and I pray for my friends. I pray for their connection. I pray for their lives. I pray for their families. I lift their health up. Heal. Set free. Cleanse, deliver. Open up spiritually blinded eyes. Unstop ears. They're not hearing right now. Heavenly Father, I am praying that you will open doors that have been closed and close some of them doors that have been hoping that we don't need to walk through. Keep us with a sense of ourselves and who we are so that we can come sit at the table and make the right negotiations and live the kind of lives that we should. Look, I thank you for answering that prayer. Amen. I gotta go. Phew. I can't wait to finish this up. I can't wait, though. See ya.